Have you ever felt that uncomfortable pressure when someone tries to steer your thoughts, rush your decision, or bend you to their will? Maybe it was a salesperson pushing too hard. Maybe a friend using guilt. Or maybe a boss subtly pulling strings. Most people freeze. They give in. They walk away feeling like they lost. But what if you didn't have to? What if, instead of being the target of manipulation, you could recognize it in real time, and then flip the script, taking back control of the situation? Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Mind control, hypnosis, manipulation. These words sound dark, don't they? But here's the truth. They're just tools. Tools of influence. And they're everywhere. In advertising, in politics, in the workplace, in relationships. Every single day, people are trying to shape how you think, feel, and act. But here's the secret. Once you see it, once you understand the patterns, you gain a hidden advantage. You can't be controlled. Instead, you can turn the table around. By the end of this video, you'll know how to spot manipulation, stop it in its tracks, and then guide the interaction toward what you want. The first step is awareness. You can't fight what you can't see. Manipulators rely on emotional triggers. Guilt, fear, urgency, flattery. Think about it. Ever heard, "You'd be selfish if you don't help me, that's guilt." Or, "This offer expires today, don't miss out." That's urgency. Or, "You're so smart, I know you'll agree with me." That's flattery. And then there are hypnotic phrases. Everyone knows this is true. "You don't want to be left behind." Imagine how amazing this will feel. Once you recognize the script, you stop being the audience, and you become the director. Step 2 is to stay grounded. Because manipulation thrives when you're rushed, pressured, or confused. Here's a simple trick. The moment you feel pressured, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself one grounding question. What do I really want here? If someone is pushing you fast, slow it down. If they're raising the emotional heat, cool it down. Picture yourself as a tree. Strong, rooted. A manipulator might push, but you don't sway easily. This single shift, slowing down, often makes manipulators stumble. Because they rely on speed. They don't want you thinking. But now, you are. Now let's talk about flipping the pressure. If someone uses guilt, don't apologize. Stand firm. Say, "I understand your point, but here's my decision." If they use urgency, don't rush. Set your own timeline. "Thanks, I'll decide tomorrow." If they use flattery, don't melt. Redirect. "I appreciate that, but let's focus on the facts." You don't ignore their tactic. You acknowledge it, and then you shift it into your frame. That's how you flip the pressure. Here's where it gets really powerful. You can actually use the manipulator's own hypnotic tools back on them. This is called pacing and leading. First, you pace, meaning, you match their reality. If they say, "This is urgent," you reply, "I see why you feel it's urgent." Now, you lead, guiding them where you want them. "That's exactly why I need time to make a strong decision." You mirror their words, their tone, their energy, and then, gently, you turn the wheel. This works in negotiations, arguments, sales, even relationships. You don't fight head-on. You redirect, smoothly, subtly, powerfully. Here's the truth. Manipulators want something. Once you know what they want, you hold the power. Instead of resisting blindly, reframe the situation. "I see you want X. Here's what I'll need in return." Suddenly, manipulation turns into negotiation. You're no longer reacting, you're dictating the terms. But the ultimate weapon isn't technique. It's confidence. Mind control works best on people who are unsure of themselves. When you're clear on your values, your boundaries, and your desired outcome, you become unshakable. Picture this. A salesman tries to pressure you into buying something you don't need. The insecure person caves, but the confident person smiles and says, "This isn't aligned with what I need. Show me something that is." Confidence doesn't argue. Confidence doesn't panic. Confidence redirects. Let's make this real. In sales, a pushy pitch becomes your chance to negotiate better terms. At work, a manipulative boss tries to guilt you into overtime. You calmly say, "I'll help, but I'll need a day off in return." In relationships, a friend says, "If you really cared, you'd do this for me." You reply, "I do care, but I also need to respect my own boundaries." Even in advertising and social media, you stop falling for the hype because you see the tricks behind the curtain. Everywhere, the same rule applies. Recognition plus grounding plus flipping equals control. So let's recap. 1. Recognize manipulation. 2. Stay grounded. 3. Flip the emotional pressure. 4. Use pacing and leading. 5. Reframe into negotiation. And 6. Walk with confidence. Because the truth is, mind control isn't really about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself. And once you master that, no one can truly control you. Instead, you turn the table around, every time. If this video opened your eyes, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to take their power back. And stay tuned, because in my next video, I'll give you exact word-for-word phrases you can use to stop a manipulator in their tracks. Until then, remember this: the most powerful mind is the one that cannot be controlled. And remember this also, that every new day comes with its own unique battles of mind control and influence as you interact with people, knowing that influence is everywhere. So all you need to do is to prepare your mind with fresh and dynamic strategies anchored on these principles for each unfolding situation as they come, and you will always be in control. Your mind is your most powerful asset with limitless potentials, and it's only when you recognize the strength and extent of its power and put it into proper and guided use, will you be able to realize the true meaning of power. Be it in business, politics, relationships, or government, you will always have the advantage.